Hello and welcome to another StarCraft 2 commentary video with Gum Jabbar. This is going to be another PvP, and I've got a treat for you guys. This is on the public test region server, which means that this is a brand new map. So while we go, we're going to sort of not pay much attention to this opening, but while we're skipping through that, let's take a look at this map. So we've got a decently sized, kind of smallish main leading into this natural here, and we actually have a pretty small wall here. This is good for Forge expanding against Zerg. So I'm pretty happy with this map already. I mean, that's something I wish you could do on more maps, and it looks pretty good here. The rush distances on this map are pretty long, so that's a good thing. And our third bases, we've got one down here that's fairly protected. You can, put some cannons over here if you need to, but it leads sort of right into your main. And you got some, looks like some debris over here. Got a gold base here with, of course, destructible rocks. Whoopity-doo. And a little back passage behind that base, which is good, because you want the... I mean, it's good design, I guess, because this should be a risky base to take, and there should be ways to harass it, because it's gold. It's more rewarding to get it. Anyway, the watchtower is kind of interesting because there's a little chasm nearby, and you can only hold it on one of two sides. I guess it doesn't really do much for the gameplay, but that's just sort of how it is. So I'm scouting my opponent. What do I see? Nothing unusual, so I'm going to try and stick around in this base. What am I doing back home? I'm going for that 3 gateway defensive build that I've been working on. And now I see this second gas taken pretty quickly. So that's interesting, and I just want to take mine as fast as I can to match him. I don't want to get too far behind in my tech. And the stalker comes out, so I'm going to get away. Oh, no, I'm not. Darn. And if I just gone that way instead, I might have gotten away, but alas. So I'm still going for this, these additional gateways, although this gateway is a little later because I wanted to put this gas down first. I don't know if this was a correct decision to match his gas timing as closely as I could and deviate from my build, but you know what, that's what I did. And yeah, just waiting on Warp Gate to finish, chrono boosting that. I did see him teching, so the 3 gateways maybe not necessary. Could have probably just thrown down tech after 1 or 2 gateways, because that's almost certainly what he's doing, and we can see on the production tab that he's already making immortals, but of course I don't know that yet in this game. So there's my Twilight Council. I do have 3 gateways, so the Twilight Council just makes sense. It'll bolster my gateway force. If I was doing 3 gateways and then a Robo, that would make a little less sense, I guess, because I don't know, the gateways, you can't really spend all that money, and the council, I don't know, it's just something I've been working on to do more blink, because you see players like Huck, for instance, doing blink almost every game and every matchup, and he makes it work, so it seems pretty versatile. Anyway, so I'm working on that. Scouting Stalker. Always do this in PvP. When I'm sure the 4 gate's not coming, I mean, I knew this a long time ago, I guess, but because I saw that second gas. But in any event, I'm sending out the second Stalker pretty quickly, just to scout. I can always run away with him. I get up the ramp, I see 2 immortals. Cannot attack up that. No way in hell. I've got blink coming. I can't even blink up that. If he didn't have any immortals yet, I would definitely think about a blink timing. If he only has 1 immortal, you can snipe it without too much trouble. But at this point, I'm getting blink, and it's almost useless. So this is not a good situation to be in. He's gone Robo before my blink even finished, and that's pretty much a good counter. So what I'm going to do in response is throw down a Stargate. If he's going for Robo, he's not going to have a lot of anti-air. That's just the way his money is working. He's going to have mostly Zealots off one base if he's going for fast Colossus or even a lot of Immortals. So, at this point, I've got a bit of map control. I've got Blink. He has a Robo, which is a pretty immobile army. So in general, I can sort of sit back and macro. And I'm going to be making Phoenixes out of these, out of the Stargate. It's questionable whether Phoenixes or Void Rays are the correct choice here. I've tried both and had some success with both. The reason I'm trying Phoenixes is just to see how it works out, because if he is pretty much only on Immortals, you can lift all the Immortals with the Phoenixes, and then your Blink army is going to be really strong against whatever ground forces he does have, which will probably be mostly Zealots. Meanwhile, if I get Phoenixes and he happens to have, if I get Void Rays and he happens to have a few too many Stalkers in his army, or if he went to Robo and then into Blink, which is getting more common, I'm just not going to be able to win. So I like the Phoenix choice, and I'm testing it more. Meanwhile, I'm just scouting out more, seeing if he has an Expo. He is coming down the ramp. I'm looking for a Colossus. I don't see one yet, and I see very little anti-air, so I'm pretty happy. So right now I'm just building up for a few Phoenixes, and then I'm going to go for a timing attack and try to lift his Immortals and see what damage I can cause. Notice I'm also getting a lot of Zealots. That's because against Robo builds and against Immortals, and he's going to have an army of Immortals and Zealots and maybe one or two Colossus. So a high Zealot count is going to be really good against that. Immortals don't do much against Zealots, and Zealots are better than Stalkers against his high Zealot count, so it just makes sense. Of course, his response to that should be good force fields, and they'll be in a bit of trouble. But we'll see what happens. It's sort of the best I can hope for. Here's his army. Got to micro a bit to not die from those Immortals. And here we go. Gonna engage, gonna lift up the Immortals. Try and do as much damage as I can. He did have some decent force fields behind my army. I could be doing a better job with Blink. I'm not really blinking at all, but anyway, now I'm target firing his Colossus, which do not have range. Picking up the Immortals again, but my army is kind of in trouble here. I don't have much left. Just these Phoenixes, and pick off that final Colossus, see if I can get this Immortal, and gonna run away. Almost got the second one too. Overall, not a great attack. I do have another base though. So, of course, he's on 2 base, I'm on 2 base. The reason I get this base far away is because I have Phoenixes and Blink Stalkers. I have a lot of map control. I have the possibility to run into his base or blink into his base right from here using the vision granted by the Phoenixes. So I don't actually have to do that, but the threat of it means that he can't really move out. If he does try to kill this, then I can go into his main and do a lot of damage, take out his Robo or something like that. So, in response, right now I'm getting charge on my Zealots to make them a lot more effective. And I'm getting the Dark Shrine. Now, you might be wondering, he has a Robo. Why would I be going DTs? He's going to have Observers out, and they're just going to be worthless. Well, the reason is I'm not going to use them to harass. I'm going to use them to make archons. And why are archons good? Well, they tank a ton of damage. They do great against zealots with the splash, and they crush force fields. So a charge a lot army with archons is really pretty strong. The only thing that's not so good it is not so good against is high numbers of Colossus, because they can focus fire the immortals and kite the zealots with their range, and they just take out the zealots so quickly that the immortals aren't really that useful. So what I have to do is try and hit a good timing here. I knew I killed off 2 of his Colossus, so that's going to be a big advantage. And I'm getting up more gateways to support all the gateway army that I have. Another advantage of this gateway army is that I can replenish very quickly and build up my army quickly. So I get in here. Uh-oh, he does have a cannon. And I think the Phoenixes sort of forced the cannons. So I'm just seeing if I can cause damage. It's just 1 DT, it's not a big deal. And he has a cannon up here too. So that was a pretty big waste of a DT, but I mean, imagine if he didn't have those cannons. I could have done a ton of damage and probably ended the game right there. So I think it was worth it to try. And now I'm just making archons with them. Given that I'm also going for zealots, it may have been a better option to go for a Templar archives instead of the Dark Shrine, but this is what I did. Look at the unit counts. Probe counts are about even. In PvP, you don't want to make too many probes, and I know that sounds counterintuitive. Like, well, don't you always want to be making workers all the time in Starcraft? In PvP, if you make too many workers, you can actually just die because you don't have enough army. It's really, really thin. You want to have like exactly as many workers as your opponent. And tech is more important than economy, I think. So, in my opinion, this is a little bit of a better option. I'm going to scout with my Phoenixes, see what he's doing. I see a Twilight Council. A bit interesting. He may well be going for DTs with that. Or he might just be going for Blink, which is a common follow-up to Colossus. Colossus plus Blink is pretty good. And now making more Archons. And I'm going to hit my attack timing here. I also know that he has no third base, so I'm in a pretty good lead. And as long as I can maintain aggression, I don't actually have to try and kill him here because, you know, I have expanded, so my army's going to be a little smaller. I just need to maintain aggression, and then he won't be able to kill my base. And now here we go, going to attack in. Phoenix is going to deal with those Colossus. Look how well the Archons are doing. They just are not dying. The Zealots are getting in there. Zealots have insane DPS. And he is being smart with this Colossus, trying to focus fire my Archons, but I just have too much stuff. And now the Phoenix is going to lift up everything, just like Stasis in Starcraft 1. Awesome. And the Archons are in the base. But, oh, he does have a Colossus in a great position over here. Can't really hit him with Archons or Zealots. So I'm going to go and take out this base. Pretty smart, good reaction time, because he's letting that cannon do a lot of the work to defend. And, oh, not the greatest micro here. But these Archons are just really strong. I'm going to blink up, see what I can do. Use the Phoenixes to kill a Colossus. Phoenixes do take a while to kill Colossi. But you know what? They do kill the Colossus eventually. That's what really matters, right? And I'm just blinking everything back. Letting the Zealots take care of his Expo. I want that Colossus dead. I don't care how many Phoenixes I have to sacrifice. And going in. I'm letting him pull probes. I don't really care. It's 3 base to 1 right now. I'm just really far ahead. Now I just have to fall back and replenish a little bit. And there's the GG. So yeah, pretty interesting game. This is, I think, an interesting way to respond when you see a fast Robo like this, if you are not already going Robo yourself. I really like to go Phoenixes against this. I think it works. It's interesting. If I'd hit a faster timing, maybe I could have done more damage. But after that failed, I think that the Chargelet Archon mix is just really strong, as long as you don't go into the super late maxed army game, because then it gets a little bit weaker. But in that instance, I think the smart move is to start going Immortal. Just add in some Immortals to that mixture, and it becomes like a lot stronger somehow. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, that's going to be it. Yeah, I guess this is going to be another PvP game, and you're going to see more in the following days. So thank you for watching.